We continue our State of the Union coverage with Vice President Kamala Harris. Madam Vice President, good morning. Good to see you this morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you, Gayle.
Let's get right into the speech. It was a tale of two speeches last night. We had to start with foreign policy for obvious reasons because of what's going on in Ukraine. Ukrainian President Zelensky is asking the West for more support. And last night, President Biden said Putin has no idea what is coming. I realize you can't share with us administration secrets, but is there another card to play here?
Well, first of all, I think the president did an outstanding job of articulating what is at stake. And what is at stake is that Ukraine is an independent nation, and we, as the United States of America, will stand for its sovereignty and its territorial integrity. The president outlined the extraordinary work that we have been doing with our allies to bring these nations together, in particular the European Union and our NATO allies, to stand in solidarity and support of Ukraine. In fact, just yesterday, most recently, I spoke with world leaders, including the prime ministers of Poland, of Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania, and Romania, talking about the work that we have done as the United States to bring people together on a variety of issues that relate to sanctions, which are some of the most severe that we've ever seen, but also the work that we are doing to remain committed to a unified response to what is happening in terms of Russia's aggression.
I hear you on that, but those images are heartbreaking to watch. We see innocent civilians being killed. We see children being killed, and the administration has made it clear there will be no boots on the ground. What will it take? Will anything change that? Will we stand by and watch innocent people continue to be killed here?
Well, Gayle, you're absolutely right. It's heart-wrenching. It's heartbreaking. The image of a missile that struck just right next to a children's playground. The Ukrainians who are, as civilians, taking up defense of their nation out of pride and also an understanding of what is at stake in terms of their vitality and their independence. So it is heart-wrenching, to be sure. But I will tell you, the president is clear. We are clear. We are not going to put U.S. troops in Ukraine to fight the Russians, not on the ground and not in the air. But we are going to continue working with our allies to, one, defend every inch of territory as it relates to NATO territory, but also what we will continue to do with the billions of dollars of humanitarian, security, and military assistance that we have been providing Ukraine. There is so much at stake, and each day we reevaluate and do more to make sure that we are supporting the Ukrainian people and President Zelensky, who I met with just about a week ago in Munich. He has shown extraordinary courage, and in this moment, I think he has been an inspiration to all of us.
Let's switch to some of the domestic issues that were raised last night. You know, the president made a point of saying, fund the police. He got applause, it seems, from both sides of the aisle on that. But there was very little mention of voting rights. Does this mean that that issue is on the back burner for the administration at this point in time?
The president has been very clear. He was clear again last night in front of the members of the United States Congress. They must pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act and the Freedom to Vote Act. The president has said over and over again, and we have made very clear, that this is about protecting America's democracy against those various states in particular, and state legislators and governors who are in a full-on assault on the right of every American who is eligible to actually be able to vote. I've been traveling the country. In fact, later today I'll be in North Carolina. And what we are seeing about laws that are being passed that would make it illegal to give somebody who's standing in line to vote food and water is outrageous. Laws that are being passed that make it more difficult for people to drop their ballot off in a drop box.
Okay, let's talk about high priorities when it comes to inflation. The new CBS poll found 70% of Americans disapprove of the administration's handling of inflation. What do you say to those people as they say gas prices are just too high? I can't get peanut butter. Everything costs more. What are you going to do?
Listen, people are struggling, especially working people, in terms of the price of gas and food, and the reasons include what we need to do to address what happened through the pandemic in terms of supply chain issues, which was a reduction of the availability of goods, and so the prices went up. We also need to deal with one of the biggest issues, which is the cost of living. It's too expensive for working families, and so that's why we have been clear, the president said last night, let's bring down the cost of child care so that working families families don't pay more than 7% of their income in child care.
How do you do that?
Well, what we do is we pass the legislation that we have been pushing, which will bring down these costs and make living more affordable for working people. That needs to happen, in addition to what we will continue to do to grow our economy. As the President said last night, we have seen the largest amount of growth of our economy in 40 years we've seen in the last year. And that is a statement about the integrity of the policies that we are implementing, but it's also a statement about the resilience of the American people to rise to this moment through very difficult times, in particular around the pandemic.
Thank you very much, Madam Vice President. I know you got to run.
It's good to be with you. Thank you.